Hello. Good evening. Get it right. I'm Big Bad Bob. Hello, I'm Bob Nuxall. I am the chair of the Shelter Rock Forum, and we have a program presented jointly with us and ONEorg. Deborah will be telling you about ONEorg. I'm going to mention a little bit about Malala. That part of the reason that I was very enthused about this is that one of the major points that Malala consistently makes is also made by people near and dear to my heart. I taught economics, AP economics, among other things. And one of the things that economists have told us is there is a very high positive correlation between girls getting an education and economic development of the country. So that whether I want to think of myself as a quasi-feminist or not, I'm in favor of both helping women get on an equal footing in as many places as possible, not only for them, but for the society as a whole. And to see someone who does not have a fabulous background in economics coming to the same conclusion that I have, and that is Malala, only she's doing it with a little more courage than I would have to. So that seeing this film, being able to discuss this film, I consider that alone would be reason to be here. But we're not limited to that. May I introduce Deborah, who will introduce our panel, and you'll find out about ONEorg.
Thank you, Big Bad Bob. I appreciate that. First of all, thank you all for coming tonight. I understand it was very busy around here, so thank you for making the choice to come. My name is Deborah Sable. I am a volunteer with ONEorg. This is what I do for fun, believe it or not. And some of you in this room choose to join me and have this kind of fun as well. I have several of my community volunteers here, also known only for the purposes of distinction as the adult volunteers. I have Karen Rossellino, who's one of our top volunteers in this area. I have Nilly Finger, wave guys, and I've got Lisa Donatelli. Where'd you go? There she, and Lisa's in the back of the room. And you can spot us very easily because we are branded. We're very well branded. For those of you who don't know what ONE is, ONEorg is the website. We're also called the ONE Campaign. And I have here 3 high school students who are volunteers. And they're going to tell you a little bit about ONE. They're going to give you an example of what we do. And then we're going to screen the movie for you. So let me begin by introducing Aram Bagdasarian, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about what ONE is.
Hello, everyone. So ONE is an organization co-founded by this man named Bono. I don't know if you guys know him, but he was the lead singer of U2. Of course, you guys know him. He still is. And ONE is an organization dedicated to fighting extreme poverty and preventable disease. Now, to me, this means that all those people in Africa, the 1.1 billion people in Africa, who right now are inhibited by their poverty or diseases that they have, those people who are inhibited but could be the next Einsteins, the next Nobel Prize winners, the next great leaders, these people could reach those potentials and get those accomplishments if they weren't in this extreme poverty and preventable disease. So by eliminating that or trying to eliminate that, ONE enables those people to reach their full potential. But usually when I talk about, or when people say extreme poverty and preventable diseases and eliminating this in Africa, people either get out their wallets or hide them. But you see, the special thing and unique thing about ONE is that we're not asking for your money, we're asking for your voice. we're asking you to write letters to your congressmen or senators saying that you support and act to get energy in Africa, or to go to Capitol Hill and go to those congressmen's office and the senator's office and tell them that you support these bills and these actions and this legislation that can help these people get out of their situation in Africa or Asia or anywhere in that region. So that's really the unique thing about ONE and what distinguishes us from many other organizations. And now my friend Josh, another volunteer high schooler, is going to tell you about one action that ONE is working on right now.
Before Josh Wigler is going to come up and take the microphone. He is another one of our student leaders. I want you to know that ONE invited both Aram and Josh at different times to come to Washington, D.C., and Karen has also been invited to Washington, D.C., and lobbied on Capitol Hill on behalf of these life-saving and effective programs. Now, just before Josh begins to speak, we are talking about the part of the federal budget that is so tiny, the foreign assistance budget. Does anybody know how much it is? And nobody with a ONE shirt better answer this question because you guys are cheating. Anybody know how much the foreign assistance budget is in the federal budget? 1 or 2%? Anybody else have a guess? No? Ben is very, very close. It's less than 1% of the federal budget. It's 0.6%. So we do all of these things, the Global Fund, PEPFAR, which is the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, Feed the Future, USAID, all of these programs get funded out of 0.6% of the federal budget. And right now, Josh is going to talk to you about the action that ONE is currently focused on and what we're going to ask you guys to do tonight, if you would. Josh Wigler.
So ONE is always focused on doing something, and for the time being, we're now focused on changing the budget for next year, 2017 budget. So we're using this small 1% of the budget given to us, less than 1%, and what we're focused on now is nutrition. So nearly half of kids under 5 years old, the deaths of these children are attributed to malnutrition, and 37% of children around the world, growth is stunted by malnutrition. 58 million children in sub-Saharan Africa are too short for their age. And all we want to do is take this less than 1% budget to help aid these kids and make them grow to the size that they deserve to be. What we're asking for is $150 million, which is not a lot in this less than 1% budget, and that's barely nothing when the government is talking in the huge amount of money that the government has to spend. That's what the initial cost for nutrition that we spend is $125 million. $150 million is just $25 million more. That's basically nothing, and this investment will pay off $16 for every $1 invested. I think that the lives of these people and their height is much more, can greatly impact the world, and it's a great investment for us.
It's been estimated that we return $16 for every single dollar that we spend on global nutrition because it saves money in health costs, in all kinds of other areas. We have all these breakdowns on the website, and I don't want to, just throw numbers at you, but early childhood nutrition impacts everything that has to do with poverty. The children are healthier, they are smarter, they are stronger. If you have a mother who doesn't get proper nutrition, well, we know, we talk about prenatal vitamins here. So if you begin to think about the impact, that's what we're talking about tonight. I'd like to introduce Matthew Thanor. He's another one of our high school volunteers, and he's going to tell you just a little bit about the movie, reiterating some of what Bob had to say, and then we'll get started. So again, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it, and I'll answer any questions that you have about ONE after.
Many of you have probably known already what this movie is about. It's about Malala Yousafzai, who was a female activist who advocated for women's right to education in Pakistan. And along with her group, which she advocated with, she was being targeted frequently by the Taliban until one day, one fateful day, the Taliban actually got her and shot her right in the head, unfortunately. But she's okay, and she lived to actually write a book about herself, I Am Malala, which is partially based, which the movie is actually partially based. He Named Me Malala, which is the one we're about to see. And she now lives in Birmingham, England, where she advocates for women's right to education around the world, and of course, women's right to health and whatnot. And she's able to spread her message, and she's recovering now, and which is pretty good considering her great struggle that we're about to witness right now. Before we get it started, I would like to say that the first time I saw the movie, I was sort of apathetic going into it, and I was like, oh boy, another movie about, activists and whatever. I've seen them all. But the thing that really got me about this one is that it seems like even after this terrible accident that happened to her, it seems like she's actually gotten stronger. She's able to reinforce what she's saying. And I really was truly inspired by that. It was really amazing how somebody could just, after falling so far, could just pick themselves right back up and get right back to where they need to be.
So Malala has a voice which is so beautiful and reaches so many people. And as you heard earlier, the thing that we talk about most often at One is we're not asking for your money, we're asking for your voice. My voice is not as beautiful as Malala's, but together our voices make an enormous impact. And we very much want to thank Ben and Bob and the entire congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Church for having us here, hosting us in this beautiful space tonight. Thank you to our AV. This was lovely, and we look forward to doing things with you in the future. If you would like to know more, go to ONE.org, that's ONE.org. If you sign up, I promise you, we do not sell your information. You will only occasionally get an email from us, every so often, and only when it's important. Thank you again. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for